completely evident that the New York Mets are a better ball club than the Philadelphia Phillies. You don't sweep a team out of your stadium again and not be a better team. Phillies tried, gave it everything they had. It was not enough. You can't leave bases loaded with one out and expect to win a ball game in the 10th inning. It's just not going to happen. And they're now 5 games back in the East. John Kruk put it best. It's not a must-win today, but it's an important win as we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Ricky Bo, how do you sit on the state of this matchup?
I think you have to sit on it, that it is what it is. And I hate to say it just as much as everybody else, but this Mets team is a better team than the Philadelphia Phillies, especially right now during the season. You look at the Phillies, yeah, they had some hits today. How many extra base hits, guys?
None.
None. No extra base hits. As a matter of fact, we know and love this team because they live and die by the long ball. Guess what? They're doing it again. That's exactly what it comes down to. The pitching was not that bad. Romano, yeah, okay, he gave up the extra run in the extra inning. But, I mean, Wheeler was good. Alvarado was good. The offense did nothing in the first 9 innings of this ball game to help out anybody.
Sure didn't. Ben, your thoughts on this loss?
Well, they had 11 hits in this one, and, you know, Alec Boehm's starting to look like he's swinging the bat better. He had 3 hits today, but 11 hits, 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position. There was a big play earlier in the game when Soto throws out Castellanos at home plate. They just coming up short on the offensive side of things, and it's got to get better. They just the approaches is not where I think they need to be. It's all or nothing kind of swings right now. Some more strikeouts today, and they just got to start staying behind baseballs. Staying behind baseballs and driving them and producing better at bats. But you're right. That was a big moment, obviously, in that ball game, in that 10th inning. Bases loaded, 1 out, and not able to get another run across.
Stock came up empty, and then it just fell apart.
Let's go to Citi Field for the crossover presented by Chapman Auto Stores. That's where we find John Kruk. Called today's game with Tom McCarthy. John, I thought you had the line of the game at the beginning. It's not a must-win, but it's an important win. And I agree with you, my friend. And I think the Mets basically laid down the gauntlet. They slapped the Phillies around. The Phillies gave it everything they had today. Certainly there were miscues. They can't beat this team, at least not at this point in the season. What's your forecast now?
Well, the reason why I said it was an important one, because you had, your ace on the mound in Zach Wheeler. And Zach pitched great. He made the one mistake to Beatty. It's a long 2-run homer. But again, this is, to me, the offense. The offense has to really start getting going. If not, it doesn't matter how good your pitching is when you're struggling to score runs. And the Phillies, I heard you guys talking. A lot of the Phillies' offense is predicated on extra base hits, home runs, and they have to find ways to score runs without having to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And I thought today, Nick came up clutch there in the 10th inning. After Kyle struck out, Bryce stole third. But then it just, if you get opportunities to score, you gotta, and it's easier said than done, but you have to capitalize on those situations. And the Phillies didn't do it today, and the Mets found a way.
John, let's go a little positive. I'll get you out of the mean streak here. You know what? We watched Zach Wheeler today, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Do you feel like he's finding his stride again?
Yeah, what I like today, Rick, his velocity was up. He threw a couple at 98, but he was sitting right, throughout the whole game at 95, 96, and it's just. I just remember, when Curt Schilling was dominant, like Zach is dominant, and playing behind him, and like it was just such a relaxing feeling knowing that more than likely the other team ain't going to score more than 2 runs. And so if you drop a 3 or 4 spot on them, you're going to win the game. But that means executing, moving runners, hitting behind runners, situational hitting. But I think if there's one positive to take out of this game is Zach's velocity stayed pretty much mid to upper 90s throughout his appearance today.
John, when you see Edmundo Sosa play, he just plays with such a passion And that's something I'd like to see maybe some of the other guys. These Phillies just don't look like they're having any fun out there. So today with a couple more hits, it's almost at that point where Topper's got to find – I know he doesn't want to expose him is what he says, but it's almost like they've got to find a spot for him out there every day.
Yeah, again, when he pinch hit for Edmundo, he put up Bryson Stott, and Bryson's been, since he moved to the leadoff, he's been as hot as anyone, so you can understand that move. But yeah, when we were pulling in today on the bus, I saw a kid out in the parking lot playing catch, and the kid was in a wheelchair. But he was playing catch, and you can tell just the joy on his face just to be able to go out in the parking lot at Citi Field playing catch with another young kid. And I was talking to Castellanos and Stott, and I said, that's true love of the game right there, that, the kid's in a wheelchair, but yet he's still playing catch. And, when you start talking about, guys getting paid to do this, and sometimes, and I've felt this way as a player at some point, that, even though you're getting paid, sometimes when you're struggling, it did feel like work. But that's the way Edmundo plays. He plays with that love of the game, with that passion. He's going to enjoy it regardless. And, you would think at some point that I don't know if you want to run him out in the outfield for, 2 or 3 games in a row, but I think Rob has to find a place to ride. You got to ride a guy when he's hot, but where? Alex starting to hit, Bryson's starting to hit, Kepler's starting to hit. Where are you going to put him? And that's the issue I think that Rob has, is where do I put Edmundo where he can help us? And right now it's basically playing against lefties.
John, how high is your confidence level in Jose Alvarado?
Well, I think after, these handful of games that we've seen, he would be the one I would trust at the end of the game. But
automatic closer?
I don't think they're going to ever go to that, Rick. I don't think that, I don't think there's going to be a label on any of the guys out there. I think it depends on the matchups. I think it depends on, who pitched the day before, who pitched the, 2 days before, how many innings did they pitch, how many pitches did they throw. I think it's going to be a mix and match. Personally, if it was me making a decision, which thank God it's not, I think I'd have Jose closing and leave it at that.
John, I'm just concerned now as they go on to Wrigley Field and the Cubs, and you know best, just like Ben and just like Ricky, how much does a sweep like this get in the team's head, get them down? Is tomorrow another day and they just bounce back? Or the day after tomorrow? Yeah,
that's the hard part is, you get swept by your, rivals, a team that now you're chasing. The hardest thing for me as a player when that happened is having an off day. Now you have to think about it. It's in your head. Everyone says, well, an off day can clear your head. It can, but it can also screw your head up, too, for, getting too much crazy stuff going in your head, worrying about the game Friday. Cubs can score. They can hit. Hopefully the Phillies take advantage. Hopefully it's nice conditions in Wrigley Field, and the Phillies can start unleashing some power, because 8 singles or whatever, it's just not going to cut it anymore.
8 singles. Unbelievable. They were right there till the end. All right, John Kruk, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Johnny.
Appreciate it.
Okay, doke.
John in the booth with Tom McCarthy at Citi Field. Let's go to the Phillies' 10th inning. They tied it up. It's 2 apiece, and they're trying to take the lead and win the game. Bryce Harper's the ghost runner. Edwin Diaz is the pitcher. There's Kyle Schwarber, called out on strikes. Doesn't like it.
He didn't like it, but I think it did catch a piece there. But Harper steals third base.
That's crucial at that time.
Yeah, at third base, less than two outs. And Cassidy just goes right out there with Diaz and shoots him to left field. That's a good job. Got out in front a little bit, but he was able to keep his hands back and get it past Vientos at third base.
Mm-hmm. Here comes this is the replay.
That's a replay. It was
Harper
good.
Waltzes in.
He loves to reach out and pull the ball. Not a lot of guys do that, but he can do it well.
Now, here's the balk disengagement.
It wasn't a balk. Okay,
not a balk.
let's start that. He did step off the mound before everything happened, but that was supposedly his third engagement. But it was an injury call, so I guess they just take care of it.
So they put Castellanos back on first base. Topper had a fit about it. Castellanos wasn't thrilled. You can see them wave Castellanos to second, and Topper's trying to explain, no, what the heck is going on here? What are you trying to play? But they send Castellanos back to first base. I don't know that it would have made a difference, but next batter
Walk,
continues.
so
There's a
he would have
walk.
been there anyway.
Would have been there anyway. So
there you
that's
have it.
Real Muto on the walk. And then boom, they hold Castellanos here at third base. There's a single by Alec Bohm. And by the way, Alec Bohm had a strong game today.
Yeah, he did.
He has been on fire. He's 3 for 5 today, Alec Bohm.
Pulling a
Batting
Greg
average up to
Jeffries on us.
230.
So bases loaded. Max Kranick has been in, and there's Bryson Stott.
Bryson had 3 really good hanging sliders to hit in this one. Just not able. Taylor comes up throwing. It's a smart move not to send Castellanos, who had gotten thrown out earlier in the ball game by Juan Soto from right field. And then Kepler comes up, not able to get it done either.
Yeah.
Gets under that one, got it in on his hands a little bit, ends up being a little routine fly to right, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, right then and there, you think Phillies are going to hold on and win this week?
I don't know. You're
3-2?
just kind of waiting. No.
Jordan Romano
no.
in.
I would have thought tie game, because there's probably going to be a hit somewhere in here or a wild pitch or something like that to move the runner. But Soto, the lazy that's a terrible at-bat.
Yeah, except it got Lindor to third.
It got him to third, but your name's Juan Soto. You make $700 million. Swing the bat right.
Yep. And then I'm thinking here, Alonso, gone.
0-2 pitch.
Home run.
It's not a terrible pitch.
No.
It's really not. But that shows you the strength of Pete Alonso, the polar bear, and he goes down and golfs it out to right center. I know fans don't want to hear this. You got to tip your cap there. That was a fine piece of hitting.
It was a good piece of hitting. The ball, 0-2 pitch. It's on the outside corner of the plate with movement.
So they intentionally walk Nimmo. That brings up Mark Vientos.
This is comical.
Yeah.
This guy just saw 2 sliders off the plate, swung and missed on one, and then he gets a fastball right down the middle and actually, the fastball was already in Philadelphia before he swung.
And then Starling Marte, broken bat, little floater out to short center field, and Alonso scores the game winner, 4-3. The Mets win and sweep out the Phillies. Gets it right on the handle.
Yeah, but he's a strong dude, and he's always been that guy that's going to be able to get the ball to the outfield. Very good situational hitter there, right there. But the other thing that concerns me, too, with the Phils, 4-8 now on the road. 4-8.
They don't win on the road.
And the Mets are 12-1 at home.
Mm-hmm. And the Mets are now 18-7 overall. They've got the best record in baseball. And
at this point in April, the Mets are a better team than the Phillies.
They
Much
are
better right now.
But overcoming a 2-game deficit is not as difficult as overcoming a 5-game deficit, which is where it stands right now. Let's go to the Phillies' 8th inning and see what happens here for the Phils in the 8th. Nick Castellanos is at bat, and he draws a leadoff walk, which will bring up JT Real Muto. Strikes out.
Good sinker down and in.
Alec Bohm. Here's a ground out. 5-3. Castellanos moves to second. Okay. You got a guy in scoring position. Stott comes in to pinch hit, and he draws a walk. Bryson Stott.
Not competitive pitch there, and then Kepler comes up with a big knock here. The problem is, watch where Soto ends up fielding this baseball. Watch how close to the infield he is. This ball's hit very hard. But look how close he is. He takes it, shuffle. This play here by Sanger was amazing.
That was a good play. Good stretch out to get him.
Absolutely
No doubt
amazing.
you send Castellanos? No doubt you do that?
100%. That's not on Dusty Wathan by any means. But the play by Sanger, look where he is. He's got it. I always tell younger catchers, you're not anchored to the plate. You have to go get the baseball. First of all, it's a terrible hop that he has to catch this ball on. And then to retreat the other side, he sprawls out and tags Nick out, and he definitely is out. 15 seconds go by. Rob Thompson, they can't challenge it anyway because they went past the 15-second time frame. But this is just a fine play by the Mets.
It really is, and he put himself into a position where Castellanos had to come into him. There was no way around it. It was a really nice play by the Mets catcher.
And at that point,
Really was.
I thought there goes the hopes for winning the game. And it turned out to be true, but not before the Phillies ended up tying it up and then taking the lead. Unfortunately, it did not remain so. Here's Rob Thompson post-game.
Down on why he's not a balk?
Because it was injury related. So my question was, he wasn't injured after the first time he stepped off or after the second time he stepped off, so he steps off the third time. They award him second base. Then he calls the trainer out. That kind of doesn't make sense to me. That's a play that I'll have to remember to tell our pitchers. You step off third time, and it's a big part of the game, call the trainer out. We'll take you out, we'll put somebody else in.
Very frustrating with the way the rest of that inning went, getting a couple guys on base. And
Yeah, Stoddy comes up there in the 10th, and you figure you're going to get one more point right there, the way he's swinging the bat, but it just wasn't deep enough.
You had 3 extra base hits this entire series.
Yeah.
Do you think some of your guys maybe are caught between the patient and aggressive, and that maybe you're not driving the ball like you think your lineup can?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're just going through a little bit of a run here where we're not driving the ball, but it'll come.
And Castellanos there in the 8th, you would never consider pinch running for him? He's at second.
No,
base,
because the only guy I've got left is Stevenson and Marchand. And Stevenson, I was saving for Rojas.
Did you guys want to take a look at that, or?
Well, I had my hand up. He didn't see me with my hand up, and I wanted to go out and explain something to him. Instead, I should have just gone and then went out and talked to him. But he was safe anyway, so it didn't really matter.
He was safe?
I'm sorry, he was out.
I mean, do you feel like almost symbolic of how things are going? You got 2 hits with runners in scoring position, one in the 8th, one in the 10th, that didn't score runs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating, but it'll turn.
Hit a lot of balls hard today.
Yeah, we did.
But no, I guess what? One extra, or no extra base?
No extra base hits.
When you have good results on one end where you are hitting the ball hard but they're not falling, is that a launch angle situation? Is that you're not hitting in the right place? Is that bad luck? Is that random chance?
Yeah, it's just random. It's the randomness of the game. It really is. I mean, we're not going to tell guys to start swinging uphill.
Right.
Yeah, it's you hit a ball hard, you hit a ball hard. It's like I was talking about prior to the game. The runners in scoring position number, it's skewed at some point because you take the inning where we got a runner at second base. Wilson hits a bullet to the third baseman, right? That's all he can do. Trey comes up later, hits a bullet to the shortstop. That's all he can do. And so you're 0 for 2 in that situation. Well, I mean, they hit the ball hard. That's what I'm looking for.
So did you think at bats overall today were better?
I thought they were good, yeah.
What do you sense maybe the mood? It's been a little challenging stretch here for you guys.
Very frustrated. Yeah, very frustrated. These guys, they come to battle and they prepare and they compete and they expect to have a good outcome. So when you don't, it's frustrating.
Do you think there's a gap between you and the Mets based off of this
week?
No. How do you?
No.
Why not?
Because we're a good team.
with all the frustration and with the outside noise, how do you prevent guys from trying to do too much at a time like this?
It's just communication, just talking to them and trying to keep it as light as possible so they don't get too frustrated and they start getting in their own head. But I think we're in a good spot with that.
It looked like the pitch from Romano to Alonso was a good one that he just gets out and gets a piece of it. And one to Marte is probably one he wants. You don't want it there, correct?
Well, I mean, Marte didn't hit the ball hard. So there you go. All right? It's the randomness of the game. Whereas I thought the pitch to Alonso probably got too much of the play.
Too much, okay.
Yeah. And he could barrel it. So.
I think that's Alvarado's longest outing since 2021.
Yeah.
What did you think of the way he gave you a chance?
It was great. You know, he fought. He did a great job. He, we had Romano ready. So once that pitch count got to a place where I wasn't comfortable with it, we were going to go get him. It didn't matter which hitter we were at. So, but he did a great job.
What did you think of Wheeler?
Really good. You know, a lot of pitches in the first inning. Cutter to Beatty didn't quite get in far enough, but other than that, he was fantastic.
The randomness of the game. Very random. Tell you what, ask if there's a gap between you and the Mets. Oh no, oh no. Rob Thompson says, why not? Because we're a good team. That's 13-12.